Hello, people. Hi, this is Corey with Living Free. I am. Today is Saturday, July July 8th, and it's 7:26. Um, the funny thing is that it's 7:26. I keep seeing this number 26 everywhere, everywhere. So, of course, what do? I go and look it up and I try to find out what the number 26 means. And as far as like an angel number, it talks about, um, what did it say? Something about unconditional love. And here it is. It says the angel number 26 is an encouragement that brings more balance into your life and to make sure that you haven't been neglecting certain areas. It helps remind you that positive energy, self-belief, trust, and an open heart can be the best way to bring good things into your life. So, then it made me think about everything that I've been going through for the past couple of months. And I don't know. I actually sit. Sometimes I rewatch my videos, and sometimes I watch them. Sometimes I just, or I'll just look in a mirror, or I just sit with me. And it just like pours over me like, oh my gosh, I just really love me. I love who I am. And I know that people say, you don't have to say that, you don't have to express that. I'm telling you guys that because, if you ever have these experiences like, oh my gosh, I just really love me. I just really understand who I am and what I am and what I'm supposed to be doing, and I do know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm working on that. I honestly am. I haven't been as diligent as I should, but I am. I'm truly working. I'm working on being consistent with everything in my life. Consistent. And I listened to. I had a conversation with a man that I did coach training with. He and I had this long conversation yesterday, and it was amazing. And we talked about connection and how things are connected, and how roots are connected to the trees and to the grass and to this, and then the animals eat from that, and we eat from that, blah, 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 and everything, and then you recognize the connection as he's talking. Oh my goodness. This amazing feeling just came over me, and I couldn't even explain it. And I told him, I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel that, like I feel whatever it is that you're saying. And it was just the way that he was saying it and expressing it. And this was my buddy from New Zealand. Awesome person. Awesome. Awesome. We often don't look at ourselves in the light that other people may look at us. And sometimes other people may not look at us in a positive light. And I've noticed that with myself. I struggled with not feeling good enough because of my home life when I was younger. Also with outside in my house, like when we would go outside and play, and like my street was mainly family. But if you weren't family, you were family. Just the way I was treated, the way that, or I wasn't treated, it was, but it's funny how the same people who treated me bad then, some of them are still treating me bad, but when do we grow out of that? I don't know. Maybe never. It's just really hard. It's disheartening to know that there's people out there who just wish bad on people, who want the worst for people and not the best. I don't understand. I don't get why I get it. I get it. I get it. I know why. It's usually there's this greatness with somebody. And I'm not saying that I'm great. I'm not saying that I'm better than. I'm not saying. But there is something, and I'll never forget this one day. My sister was like, Corey, you're going to be a millionaire. I said, yeah, I am. One day. Thought I was going to be that by now, right? But I know that there's things sitting over there waiting for me to experience them. But it's just really sad that people sit in a world of dislike. But then it's, and what they sit in actually is not, and even anything that has to do with me. It has everything to do with themselves. And I tell you, the issues that people usually try to put in front of you are usually the issues that they have with themselves. Things that people present are things that, they have within themselves. And it's like, for some reason, I hate the word crazy. I hate it because you're then saying that, I'm completely out of my mind. And maybe I like the word crazy because I am. I'm not. This right here, it has not been telling me stories like it used to. I just sit there and watch the thoughts come through and I'm like, okay, I accept that. All right. Or where's that thought coming from? Or, what is that? Is there any truth to that? Is there any relevance? Is there any reason why I need to have that? I've also noticed that there's thoughts of people that come through and I'm like, and even feelings. And it's like, is that mine? Because you do know, just so you know, if you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, then now you know, homie. I am so not a rapper. But just so you know that people's energies can transfer into you. And I experienced that when I was doing a Reiki session for someone. And this person's energy outside of the building, a couple of neighborhoods away, transferred into me, which transferred into that person, because when that person got up, he said to me, I feel chaotic. And I said, so do I. And here it is. I was thinking his energy was coming on to me because he was having a hard time. And then I look at my phone and I got this text message from somebody who is chaotic. So energy can be passed. It can be passed through things. It can be passed through a thought, through a feeling. It can be transferred from one person to another. And so through that transference, you can transfer that back. You can absolutely transfer that back. There is a person who, had been on my mind, was on my mind yesterday, was on my mind today. And yesterday, I didn't sit in it. I recognized that there were thoughts, even to the point where I can smell this person. So they were on my mind yesterday, they were on my mind today. And then today, after I sat in that for a while, and I said, well, are these thoughts mine? Are these feelings mine? Is this energy mine? And I was like, God, if this is not my energy, I give it back to whoever it belongs to. Whoever this energy belongs to, I give it back. No sooner did I say that, did the thoughts go away. No sooner did I say that, was everything just released. I didn't have that. I had nothing. And I'm just realizing that right now. Is that there was nothing there. There was just, it was just that release. So, of course I'm a Reiki practitioner, so, you can actually do that though. the transference of energy. And so I've actually been, oh, right, the transference of energy. And, I had something, I talked to my kids, and I don't know, I didn't talk to anybody else. I don't know why. Well, in conversation that I was having with them earlier this week, there's some guy that I'm attracted to, right? And I said, I'm just going to talk to him, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't, like, every time I see him, he stands shoulder to shoulder with me. And we're talking, he's like, blah, 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 like right in my face. But I'm like, I'm not saying anything to him. Because he reminds me of everybody else that I've talked to. And I said, I'm done with that. I'm done with that chapter in my life that I'm worth more. I deserve more. I value myself so much more than that. So in me thinking about this guy, I noticed there was a man that came up to me in a store. He said to me, I want to tell you something, but I don't want you to hit me. Like, he and I talked before, and he talked about, like, his girlfriend and all this other stuff, right? His girlfriend he's a 5-year-old, and he's like 60. Not judging, but I just feel for the child, because, then you got to grow up with these old parents. But anyway, and we talked, and, so he walked in, and I'm like, just say it. I'm not going to hit you. I don't hit people. What do you want? Like, what is it? And he said, you have really nice thighs. And, now every time you come in here, I'm going to have to watch myself, because you're going to distract me from doing my work. Oh, please don't let my thighs distract you. Why? I mean, my grandmother told me that I had nice thighs. So when my gram tells me, Corey, you have nice thighs, I love your thighs. I loved my thighs at that moment. So if you like my thighs, okay, you can like them, that's fine. You could have liked them in private. You didn't have to express. But, okay, thank you very much. And I just keep on going on, but and I did say that. I said, don't let my thighs distract you. And I turned around and I went on about my way. So, 2 days ago, my son had just left. We're working on my front yard, and this old man rides past me. He looked like he's in his 70s or something. And he stopped at my driveway. You look mighty tasty. Are you married? No. Can I have your name? No, I'm good, thank you. And he said, oh, okay, and drove off. I just had to breathe on that one for a minute. I was laughing for the longest time. I was like, who says that somebody looks tasty? I was like, oh my gosh, these old people. So as I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, apparently I'm giving off some kind of sexual energy that does not need to be given off. What is it in me that's presenting myself that way? Was it that guy that I said that we stand shoulder to shoulder? And I've been attracted to him for a while, probably since I met him, and I acted like I was a damsel in distress. I've been attracted to him since then. It's been a good, more than 6 months. However, I won't say anything. So I was like, oh, let me take that energy back, because I don't want my energy to go throughout this universe. Not that kind of energy, because that's not what I'm looking for. That's not even what that's not what, well, I'm not going to say that's not what I want, but that's not what I want. So you just have to watch your energy and how it's being presented out, how it's being projected out to people, how it's being sent out to people. And you have to know that. You have to figure that out within yourself. And by doing them, and how you notice is how people respond to you and how people act. Like, I knew one day my energy was like way off, because everywhere I went, it was like people were scattering. Like, I was like, oh, I must have this pushing energy. Like, what in the world? I must be disconnecting from myself. So I had to reel that in, and I'm like, I will not disconnect from myself. I'm going to stay connected within. And then after that, that's when all this stuff started coming in. And a friend called me, me and this friend talk periodically. And, he expressed like how his care and all this stuff, right? And it's like, okay, well, if this, then that, then maybe that. But I don't know, right now I'm at a time in my life where I'm not interested in anyone. I'm just not. I don't want to be around people that much. Like, I have like this much room for people, and then most of it is me. It's like, so the guy that I stand shoulder to shoulder with, like, he knows where I live. He's rode past my house, and he'll ride past and he'll beep. And he was like, you sit on your porch a lot. And I said, you ride past my house a lot. You would never know how often I sit on a porch if your butt wasn't riding past my house. And he was like, that's because I'm working. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Go around. You don't have to use my street. But people were funny. People were really, truly funny. And it's just, like, I always mention, no, I don't always, I used to mention them a lot, Chris and Teeb, that, and I just, metaphysics, and, whatever energy you're presenting to the world, to the universe, is what you're going to get back. So, there's that, you attract what you put out there, right? And I just, I don't know. I just am not attracting a job. I know that. No big deal, things are the way that they're supposed to be, right? Everything happens the way it's supposed to. I just wanted a job for the sake of health insurance, one. Two, just kind of wanted a part-time job. Not even anything that I'm like, oh, if I had X, Y, and Z job, and I thought about it too, and I was gonna go take my Security Plus exam. I did training on that a couple years ago. I also was thinking about like doing another training, just so I can have it under my belt. I would actually, like, that's not a bad thing for me to have. Then I started wondering, like, is it a necessary thing for me to have? Is it really necessary for the things that I want to do? Is that necessary? And through this conversation with my friend from New Zealand, and we were talking, and he's talking, I told him about my silent retreat, and he told me about some other kind of thing that I could do. And then he goes on, we're talking about I told you I was talking about my silent retreat. I'll tell you, this is age, right? This is age, and this is the evening. Don't know why sundown. Sometimes I just get tired and I don't, you know, well, whatever. It's nothing. So people don't say, oh, well, it is. No, it's nothing. But because I've always been forgetful, so it's not like it's anything new. I always say that thing over there. I've said that since I was like a kid. That thing, you know what it is. Girl, come here. You know your name. Like, you do know your name. Just come here. But through our conversation, though, and we were talking about connection, but we also talked about something. We talked about so much stuff. But it's just like the realization of being present. You know, I asked him if he was present throughout his work day, and he said he says like 50-50. He tries to be, and there's some things that may present themselves to him, and he drops out of the present moment. And that's what I'm trying to do, is how do you stay present throughout every part of your day? And thus far, I am able to stay present, and that's because I am doing what I do, and then I focus on certain things. I don't really jump out of the present moment too often. If I do lately, it's rare. It's rare, and I enjoy that. I actually enjoy being present because nothing else matters. Just right now. Right now is all that matters. So just look for me. Look for Living Free. Look for Living Free to start being in a lot of places and a lot of things. I really feel like a manifestation of... I really feel like I'm manifesting things. I'm not worried about people in the sense of how they feel, think, and how they are towards me. I love people. I love everybody. There's not, we reach a point in our lives where we need to make those decisions on, are we going to be loving, or are we going to be fearful, or are we going to be angry? And anger is a result of fear. But do we need it? Do we need that? No, I'd much rather forgive. And I don't know what it was, but it was some years ago. It was years ago that I realized that I had the ability to quickly forgive. To quickly forgive and let go. To quickly forgive and let go of anything that may have, anything and anyone that may have hurt me. It was just that easy. I do know that, I know who you are at that point. However, I don't hold anything against you. I leave myself open and loving. So back to what I was saying about my friend from New Zealand. I told him about the silent retreat, but I asked him, like, since we did our trainings and stuff together, and since we've last spoken, I was like, do you notice that, I said, do you cry more now? And he said he finds himself crying a lot. He said he was watching a comedy show, and all of a sudden he said he was laughing, and he was laughing really hard, and like he was laughing, tears were coming out of his eyes, and all of a sudden it came into actual crying tears. And I said, wow, I've never been there. However, I cry. I could sit in my car and tears just come down. And I don't know, it's part of the spiritual awakening, the awakening spiritually, and people may not understand that. So let me tell you a little bit about spiritual awakening. So if you're a Christian, I don't know who else believes in this, but they say if you're born again, so a spiritual awakening is just that, is just a rebirth. The rebirthing of who you are. The recognition of who you actually are, as opposed to the mask that you have put on and presented to the world. So, mask off, baby. But isn't there a movie called Mask Off with John Travolta? I believe that's who it is. Somebody. Forgive me if it's not. But mask off. Seriously, it's just a point where you get to in life where you're just open, vulnerable, loving. Your mask is off. You're just sitting here wide open to everybody. So everybody in the world can see you. Everybody can see who you are and the truth of who you are. And I am that. And I don't care if people see me for who I am. Do I get angry sometimes? Yes, I'm human. Do I get upset sometimes? Yes, I'm human. But do I hold that? No, I don't. I don't. I recognize it, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I like to be. That's not how I want to be. So I know how to draw that back in where it wasn't so easy before. I used to walk around in rage. I used to be rageful because of my past, because of things that I've been through. I've been beaten down so much in my life, and nobody seems to, but everybody's like, oh, somebody I know recently told me, that they told like a family member or two family members or a couple family members or whatever, that they were talking to somebody who has the same name as me. And they're like, who? Who were you talking to? Who? And so they had to explain, like they were talking to the other Corey. And they're like, that's when their attitudes changed and they got better. And I'm sitting there like, why? You guys haven't taken the time out to even get to know me. You don't know who I am. You know who I presented myself to be when we were growing up. You know that I chased and tried to figure out, like, how do I fit in? You know that. And then whenever I wiped myself away at the age of 16, you didn't know anything about me. You knew that I might have been angry in high school or something, but I shut down. I was quiet. I didn't say much. But don't mess with me. And I had that attitude, like, don't mess with me, though. But you don't know, and people come up, they'll say stuff to me. And like I said something to one of my cousins about going to, I don't know, this is long, I'm sorry, about going to the music festival. And I told them, all these people were doing drugs and blah, blah, blah. You went to that? As if I've never been around people doing drugs. Yes, I went to that. Just because one person does something, or just because a group of people do stuff, that does not mean that I need to do that. It doesn't mean that I need to partake in it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to judge them based off of what they do. I judge based off of who you are. I don't even judge. You are who you are. I can't judge you. I can't judge you. But what I do know and what I realize is that we're a bunch of wounded people. We're just all wounded, and we all need to sit in healing spaces, accepting ourselves. And then after we accept ourselves, we're able to accept others. It's a beautiful space to be in. It's very freeing. It is very freeing. And man, my New Zealand friend said that too yesterday, is how everything is so freeing now that we've been through all of our healing journeys. And and things come up, and then you know how to work through them, and you know how to sit in them, and you just allow them to be, and then you accept them. If you need to forgive them, you forgive them, and you love them. And that's what it is. It is what it is. It's the way it's supposed to be. So I know I did a hodgepodge of stuff. I said a hodgepodge of things. I'm just going to keep journeying on down my path. My path of truth, my path of love, my path of forgiveness, my path of transformation, my path of transcendence, transmutation. You know, and my favorite thing, and if nobody knows this, my favorite thing in 2019, for some reason, I noticed butterflies. So my favorite thing is when I see a butterfly, I know my angels are around. And when I see a butterfly, it so reminds me of me because I was that caterpillar. And I formed a chrysalis. Not a cocoon, people. Not a cocoon, a chrysalis. I formed a chrysalis around myself. Transmuted into a butterfly. You know, they're so beautiful. They're beautiful. They just fly free. They fly without a care. You know, and I've also been paying closer attention to like the dogs and stuff. And you know, I joke, but I call my daughter's dog Chester, and you know, you figure out the other part, and that's because like everywhere I am, like her head is on my lap. Doesn't matter, or I could be in the bathroom, and I'm like, can you please let me go to the bathroom alone? And she looks at me like, why do you need to be alone? I'm right here with you. So I don't know what she's teaching me. I don't know what my dog is teaching me. I don't. But I'm sitting here in wonderment of how they are. But I also look at my grandchildren, and being that they're like all kind of similar, sort of the same age. And I watch them, and I would just watch, you know, I watch how they don't want to be bothered. And I won't, and I don't bother them. Like, I allow them to be them, because the worst thing that anybody can do is taint a kid, is say, hey, look, put this mask on because this is who you need to be. And you don't. You need to be who you are. I'll love you through whatever. I love you for who you are and what you are. I don't, we do more raising and rearing than we do guiding. And I think that that's what we need to do. I feel that that's what we need to do, is more so guide as opposed to raise, rear, discipline with a whip, chain, or whatever. And we just need to be. But let me just say this before I stop talking. If you sit in judgment of yourself, well, let me say this. If you sit in judgment of others, just know that you're sitting in judgment of yourself. You can't judge. You won't judge others if you're not judging yourself. You won't. You just won't. I accept people for who they are. If I tell the truth, I tell the truth. You know, there's no judgment behind it. I just speak whatever the truth is. I so love, I love knowing and love hearing. Even, you know, my friend who told me, oh, they're like, Corey, who? Corey. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's fine. If that's the way people feel about me, then that's the way they feel about me. I don't try to insert myself into anybody's life anymore. You know, that's part of that people pleasing thing. I don't need to insert. People are attracting themselves to me because of who I am, not because of who they imagine me to be. So that's their own belief system. But do not allow yourself to be in the don't hold on to what somebody else has to judge you about, especially So never take anything personal. Don't take things personal. Don't take them personal, because 9 times out of 10, the things that they are saying about you is the way they feel about themselves. The things that people say about you is the way they feel about themselves. I used to tell my kids that when they were growing up. And I always told them, never make anybody more important than you make yourself. Always told them that. Always. Because I knew that I made people more important to me than I made to myself. And I didn't make myself important. I knew that. And I knew that I wanted them to be different. And my son asked me the other day, he said, did we grow up the way that you expect us to? Are we where you expect us to be? And I said, no, if I'm looking at past expectations, no. I said, understand what I always told you. I said, do what you want to do. Your success, however you define your success. I can't define it for you. If you're happy and if you're doing things legally and morally, care. That's my expectation. That was my expectation of my kids. Do it happy, do it lovingly, do it morally. Whatever else you do is what you do. That's between you and you. I can't define your happiness. And I always told them, I said, don't do things to try to make me happy. Your happiness is what matters. It doesn't lie on me. I said, that's a heavy responsibility for me to try to make you happy. I don't want to make anybody happy. I gotta make myself happy. It's a job within itself. It's a job within itself to make me happy. So, I think I'm gonna get off my soapbox, because I was on it earlier and I was, yeah. And then I found out, I was talking about a Caribbean restaurant not too far from my house that, I was like, oh, they put this in their cabbage, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm so upset because they do that to their cabbage. And I just want some. And I rode up the hill and I'm like, why is that area empty? Because it's never empty, never. And so some guys were like, come get some food. Like around the bend, I guess they're starting a restaurant or something. And I went and got some food, and then we were talking, and he told me that the place burned down. Well, burnt in the inside, but I was just like, so crazy. Here I am fussing about wanting to go there, but not wanting to go there because they put, and I'll tell you, they were putting mixed vegetables in their cabbage. Who puts mixed vegetables in cabbage? Only Jamaicans. I'm just joking, please. I'm not stereotyping anybody. I am just joking. Those are just jokes. They did have some really good food while they were up and running. I don't know if they're going to rebuild, but oh well. It really doesn't matter, because guess what Corey's eating? Fruit. All right, peeps. I love you. Peace and blessings. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I do know that my conversation was kind of all over the place, and so, but as it always is. So I'm not apologizing. It is, but I thank you for sticking with me, and I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. These 3 words, they come off my tongue. I love you. I love you. I love you. There's a song like that. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I probably will not be on tomorrow. I gotta try to make a couple $100. So with that said, Corey probably will not be on tomorrow. But I love you, and please make sure that you take some time out for you. Not, people say self-care. Oh, self-care. Oh, my self-care is my bubble bath. Oh, my self-care is this. Sit quietly and do not allow any distractions, not the phone, not the baby. I'm telling you, put your kids to bed at 8 o'clock. If you have kids, put them to bed at 8. If you don't have kids, put your devices away. Put them away. Do it 5 minutes every day. Every day. And add 5 minutes onto that. Add 5 on. I'm telling you, I went to the pool with my daughter and my granddaughter. I got on my phone, and the only thing I was doing was listening to a book. I wasn't searching for anything. I wasn't searching through anything. I didn't want to. I didn't want to search. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to hear. I just wanted to hear. I didn't want to hear the music that was being played. So I looked for a book. And so I sat there and listened to a book for a little bit. So, make sure that you're taking care of you. So maybe I'll do a video on self-care next. All right. I love you. Have a good night. Peace and blessings, and I appreciate you.